Welcome. This unit is called BGBot, and in this unit what we're going to do is we're going to write and predict programs. Don't worry if you're not too sure what that means. We're going to start off nice and easy. So first of all, we'll start with questions relating to these 4 pictures. And my first question is, who are these? Take a minute to discuss in groups or in pairs, who are these 4 characters? Off you go. Okay, I'm going to give you the answer now. So hopefully what you've got is that the first character is Bumblebee, and Bumblebee is in the Transformers movie. The second one, did you get this one right? The second one is R2-D2, and he's in the Star Wars movie. What about the third one? Did you get this one? This one is Wally, and he's in the Disney movie, Disney and Pixar movie, Wally. And the last one, did you get that one? No? Well, he's called iRobot, and he's in a film called iRobot. Okay, your next question relating to these 4 pictures is this. What do all of these characters in these pictures have in common? Talk in your pairs again and see if you can figure out what do all of these characters have in common. Off you go. Okay, I'm going to give you the answer. The answer is all 4 of these characters are robots. They are all robots. Okay, next one. Have a look at these 4 pictures. Now then, who are these? See if you can talk in your pairs or in your groups again and see if any of you know the name of any of these. Off you go. Okay, I'm going to give you the answer. The first one is called the Mars rover. Did you get that one right? Hopefully some of you did. The second one is called ICT-Ed. The third one is called Roomba. And the fourth one is called Rovio. Now then, another question. These 4 pictures, what do they all have in common? Again, in your pairs or in your groups, have a chat and see if you can figure out what all of these have in common. Off you go. Okay, I'm going to give you the answer. All 4 of these are real robots. So they aren't robots that are in movies. These are real robots that people use in the real world. Back to these again. So what do you think these robots do? So they are real robots. What do you think that they do? In your pairs or in your small groups, choose 1, 2, or you could choose all of them and have a discussion about what you think each of these robots do. Okay, I'm going to give you the answer. The Mars rover inspects dangerous places. The Mars rover is on Mars, a planet very far away that human beings aren't able to travel to, and so we sent this robot onto Mars where it's a very dangerous place to go, and then the robot will inspect that planet and it will send us back pictures of Mars and information about Mars as well. So a very useful robot. ICT-Ed helps people. If you get your teacher or if you get time yourself to go onto a search engine like Google and type in ICT-Ed robot, you'll see that this robot can run, it can talk, it can pick up objects. It's a very helpful robot. What about this third one? I bet you can all guess what this one does. Yeah, this one cleans your house. I bet your parents would like this robot, the Roomba. What it does is it goes around and it cleans the floor in your house. A very useful robot. Fourth one. Right, the Rovio robot, what this one does is it watches your house. How does that work? Well, there's lots of different cameras on this robot, and what you're able to do is you're able to control this robot from your mobile phone. So what you could do is you could be out of your house, you could be in another country, and you could put this robot in your house and watch your house to make sure it's safe and to make sure nobody's getting in or to make sure people in the house are behaving. So it's a very useful robot. My question now is, so we know that these robots all do something, but how do they do it? How do they do each of the things that they do? How does a SEMO help people? How does it actually do that? How does Roomba go around and find dirt on your floor and clean it up? How does it do that? Again, in your pairs or in your groups, see if you can have a chat and see if you can figure out how it does that. Okay, I'm going to give you the answer now, and this answer is quite a long answer, but I'm picking out some key words. So each of these robots, the way that they work or how they work is that they follow instructions. Just like your parents give you instructions, like clean your bedroom or tidy away your toys. And just like your teachers give you instructions, like sit down, be quiet. They are instructions. And robots get instructions as well. But the instructions that robots get are called programs. And these programs are written, so we write them on computers. So human beings can write these programs on a computer, and then they can send them to the robot, and the robot will follow the instructions. And again, I've put, look, they are stored, these programs are stored on a computer, and they're executed by the computer, which means that they are run by the computer. Okay, we're going to have a little break there, and so I want you to talk in your pairs or in your groups about what you've just learned. Maybe it's the name of one of the robots, or maybe it's you've learnt what a program is, or maybe if you've learnt about something else during this presentation. So for 2 minutes, have a chat with your partner or in your groups about what you've learnt so far in this presentation. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So now we're going to change it a little bit, and I'm going to ask you or show you a picture of a very cute baby. And we're going to talk about the features of a baby. So the features of us, human beings. We all have a brain. Yeah, we all have eyes so that we can see. We all have ears so that we can hear. We all have a nose so that we can smell. And a mouth so that we can taste. We're able to use our fingers and our feet to touch and feel what's around us. And we have bones inside our body so that we can move. Now, they are the features of a human. But what about the features of a robot? Do robots all have all of these features? Not quite. So, we're going to now learn about the features of a robot. Now, this is a robot. You might recognise this robot. Does anybody know what TV program it's from? Does anybody know what it's called? It's from the TV program Doctor Who, and it's called a Dalek. And this is a robot. We're going to identify some of the features that are of this robot. So first of all, we have something called a terminal. This little thing up here is called a terminal. And these are required on the robot so that the robot can receive instructions. So just like we have ears, and our parents or our teachers tell us what to do and give us instructions, and we hear those instructions with our ears, well, the robot has something called a terminal so it can receive new instructions. Robots also have something called sensors, and sensors often tend to be cameras or pads, so a bit like our eyes. What we use our eyes for is to see what's around us. What we use our hands and our feet for are to feel what's around us. And so just like that, a robot will have a camera or a pad to feel or see what's around it. And they're required so that the robot can actually detect what's around him or her. Can any of you name the 5 senses that we as human beings have? See if you can name all 5 senses that we have. Your teacher might be able to help you if you're stuck. Okay, so I'm going to give you the answer. The 5 senses that we have as human beings are sight, hearing, touch, taste, and feel. They are our senses. So far, we've learnt that robots have a terminal, so that they can receive instructions, a sensor, so that they can detect what's around them. They also have things called actuators. That's a strange word. An actuator, they are required so that the moving parts of a robot can actually move. So just like we have bones, we need bones so that we can move. Yeah? And what they do, these actuators on robots are they make the instructions that the robot gets and receives, they make those instructions actually happen. So for example, the robot might receive an instruction to move forward, and it would need to use the actuators that are connected to the wheels of the robot to actually carry out those instructions and move it forward. Another feature of a robot is a computer. And just like human beings have brains, where everything goes on and a brain makes us all work and function, a computer does that for a robot as well. It is the brain of a robot, and it reads all of the instructions and makes things happen. So when your parents say, tidy your room, you hear that through your ears, and then your brain processes that information. So it says, right, I've got to clean my room. How am I going to do that? Make my bones move so that I can pick up toys that are on my floor and put them in a box. And that's how robots work. They receive instructions. The computer inside the robot processes those instructions, and then it might use the actuators to actually make the robot do something. So robots have a terminal, sensors, actuators, and a computer. Now then, we'll stop again, and if you can have a chat in your pairs or in groups about what you've learnt so far in this presentation and feed that information back to your teacher.